you have a moon in Aries in your birth chart, watch this video because I'm sharing what your biggest struggle is going to be in life as a moon in Aries, or as I like to call them, the impulsive challenger. Hello and welcome to Making Mindfulness Fun. I'm Isabelle, the co-founder and personality typing expert here at Making Mindfulness Fun, and I help you understand who you are. In this video, I'm sharing what it means to have a moon in Aries, including what your biggest struggle is going to be as a moon in Aries, what it is in general to be a moon in Aries, what your strengths are going to be, and what even a moon is in the first place. Because if you're new to astrology and you just heard that, or you pulled up your chart and it says, well, I guess I have a moon in Aries, you're not going to know what that means and why it is the most important part of your chart that you need to know. So really quick, before I dive into what it means to have a moon specifically in Aries, what is the moon in general? The sun sign, which you probably already know, is the ego self. It's how you generally perceive yourself and how people generally perceive you. It is your ego. The moon sign is much, much deeper and probably the most important part of your chart that you can know. I cannot stress it enough. Your moon sign is your emotions. It is the emotional patterns you're going to struggle with. It is how you attain emotional fulfillment. It is your emotional cycles. And it's the part of you that people are going to see once they get close to you, because it's your emotions. It's something that you hold close to you. And so when you let people into your life, when you let them see the close parts of you, that's what they're going to see, the moon. So it's not something that people it's not something that people will notice right away, but it's the most important part of your chart, because as human beings that are emotionally driven, you need to know what kind of emotional patterns you're going to have. So if you're a moon in Aries, these people, which are the impulsive challengers, they're going to struggle the most with being emotionally driven like an Aries. So the Aries archetype is the starter. They're great initiators. They're the ram after all, so they charge things head on. They're intense, they're bold, they're brave. I am an Aries sun, so I'm very familiar with the Aries archetype. But having an Aries sun is very different than having an Aries moon. So if you have an Aries sun, people are going to generally see that you are bold, confident, assertive. You sometimes rub people the wrong way because you're a little bit aggressive and you like intensity somewhat. But when it's your moon sign, this Aries energy is channeled into your emotions. And so if you're a moon in Aries, you're probably the number one thing that comes to my mind that you're going to resonate with is people have probably considered freezing your credit cards before. And if you're thinking right now, yep, that was me, whoops, that's because you're a moon in Aries. The moon in Aries is so driven by the need for intensity that they can go to extremes really easily. In a way, it sounds very similar to the moon in Scorpio, but the difference is the moon in Scorpio is looking for emotional intensity, and they want something that fulfills that sense of closeness, so to say, because the Scorpio archetype rules codependency and intimacy. The moon in Aries is always looking for the action, the challenge, the fire that is going to keep them feeling alive. The moon in Aries needs a lot more stimulus and passion in what they do than most. So a moon in Aries can tend to go to extremes, whether it's through their exercise and through thrill or adrenaline, or whether it's through substances, or whether it's through spending. They always are seeking intensity. And so they can get into a bind where they need to fulfill this. Every moon sign needs to fulfill their core desire, whatever it is that they want, that they need for emotional fulfillment based on the sign that their moon is in. They need this, but what ends up happening with the moon in Aries is that they go about fulfilling this need for intensity in unhealthy ways. And so they end up getting into a hole financially, they end up getting into a hole physically, or they get into a hole with the relationships because they're just seeking challenge and thrill so much that they forget to be right here. So that can be the biggest struggle for a moon in Aries, but this comes with some strengths. After all, moon in Aries, you are probably the most intense and passionate people that you can meet. You might not appear like it at first based on your sun sign if you're like a sun in Pisces, but you have that deep-rooted drive within you. You want to take challenges head on. No one can take on a challenge quite like you do. And this is a gift that you can embrace when channeled in the right direction. What are the healthiest forms of intensities you can fulfill? What are the healthiest challenges you can take on? What are the best ways that you can find that need to feel the fire within you? In a way, this is very similar to the Enneagram 8, which we talk a lot about at Making Mindfulness Fun, and you are probably familiar with if you've been following us, because Robin is a Enneagram 8. And so these two have a bit of similarities, and there's some similarities always between the moon signs and the Enneagram. There's a lot of crossover, which is something I talk more about on Be the Hero, our membership, but I will not talk about here. We're going to just stay focused on the moon in Aries and giving you guys the best information you can about this specific part, because if you can understand your moon sign, you can set up the rest of your life for success, because once you master your emotions, you master your reality, because your emotions are energy in motion. And not only can you master how you feel and how you react to life, but you can also become a creator of your reality, because you can tap into your frequency, control your frequency, your energy in motion, and attract the things you want in your reality. So, Moon in Aries. Leave a comment below and let me know if this resonated, if this intensity and need for challenge is something that you've struggled with a lot, and if so, hit the link below to join our Be the Hero membership, where I teach you how to understand your personality, including and always your moon sign. So if you're a moon in Aries and you want help and guidance so that you can stop living in the darn emotional pattern that is keeping you stuck in this hamster wheel, hit the link below to join Be the Hero now, where I'll help you, guide you through it. Alright, so stay tuned for further videos on the moon signs. Namaste.